Aloha, this is Kaypacha. For the weekly Pele report, it's 12/12/12. I got a beautiful sunrise happening here. I'm down on my knees out on the side of the hill for the weekly Pele report. So much going on. The moon is in Sagittarius, and just around early this morning, 6 a.m. or so, it hit that marvelous 8-degree point that I was talking about last week. I'll recap a little bit. There's just so much here. Okay, then it's closing in. It's in a balsamic phase, coming into the new moon. And that new moon is happening tonight around midnight. Wednesday night around midnight. All day Thursday is a very powerful day of the new moon. It's a new beginning. Really an amazing time happening in Sagittarius. Venus actually moves into Sagittarius later on this weekend. And Mercury also by Monday comes up to that magical 8-degree point. We had the sun hit that 8 degrees Sag, and then we've got the moon hitting it, you know, actually it just hit this morning. And then we've got Mercury coming up to hit it, and on December 21st we've got Venus coming up to hit it. And it's part of the magical yod. I've been contemplating this yod a little bit, the finger of fate. The finger of God. We've got this Jupiter Lilith down in Gemini, 9, 8, 10 degrees. Quincunx Saturn in Scorpio. Quincunx Pluto up in Capricorn. All of these at 8 degrees. And then we got the moon just moved through. Mercury's coming through. Venus is coming through on the 21st. And it's like a slingshot. That's the way I was picturing this yod. Yeah, it's like this Jupiter, Lilith, and Gemini energy wants to shoot. Right like the arrow of the archer into truth. Sagittarius is about truth. It's about honesty. It's about natural law. It's about nature. It's about observing and beginning and expanding our realities. This is a time to step out of the box. Jupiter exactly conjuncted Lilith yesterday. It is intense. This is the birth of the feminine, the reemergence of our inner reality, taking precedence over the outer forms of security, control, predictability, basically ego. This is a time of really tapping into our deepest soul intentions, our spiritual nature that is eternal, timeless, multi-dimensional, over the concerns, the worries, the anxieties, over personal security, safety, nurturing. It's not always an easy step to take. Moving from the personal to the transpersonal. Moving from the ego mind to the feeling heart, the feeling soul. Now, the ego is very important. It's the control tower for the physical body. It wants us to survive. It has a fear of death, the root of all fears. So we can be dealing with some very deep fears of self-annihilation, of self-loss, of, oh my God, if I do this or I follow that path, even though my heart tells me, I have no idea where it's going. I have no idea of the outcome. It's scary. Leaving this person, staying with this person, living this dream, keeping this house, There's all these decisions. This is a huge time. It's like we're culminating. Particularly now, as the moon is in that balsamic phase. It's closing up this month cycle. But in a larger way, we're closing up a 26,000 year cycle. And even bigger than that, a 36,000 year cycle. Just for you astrologers, you know, Pluto is exactly conjunct the south node of Jupiter. And that south node of Jupiter takes 36,000 years to go around through the entire zodiac. It's in Capricorn now. It's going to be there a long time. It's been there a long time. And Jupiter, of course, rules Sag. It has a lot to do with this adventuring out into the unknown. The archer is shooting his arrow to the bullseye of truth. And it's important to let go of the arrow. Let go of the creation that is mine, my children, my money, my safety, and shoot. Let it go out into the world, out into creation, out into the community, out into the whole. It's nice. We're going to have Venus join Sagittarius. We're going to have Mercury and Venus both in Sagittarius. And of course, now this other point is that it's opposite Jupiter. It's also squaring this Chiron and Neptune in Pisces. And that square to the opposition is also a very important indication of living the dream, furthering the dream, dreaming the dream forward. Now, how do we do this? It's necessary, I would say number one, is to be out in nature. Hug a tree, go sailing, go jogging, meditate, still the mind. The mind is in polarity, it's the ego. It's going to say yes or no, good or bad. But the feeling, the ego is a tricky bastard. We can come up with all kinds of stories, all kinds of justifications for our fears, for our holding back. Sagittarius, this Jupiter is like concentric. So you throw a stone in the water and it goes out in every direction. It's just total expansion. It's also total adventure. Adventure is the quest, not knowing what is going to be coming. It can be good or it can be bad. It can be happy. It can be sad. But the idea, you know, and the feeling, I would say, you know, one way of judging is, you know, is this about protection? Is this about protecting myself? About holding back? About closing off? So this slingshot of this yacht, it's almost like it's going through the guardians at the gate. Saturn has very often been associated with the guardian at the threshold. And Pluto in Capricorn, two guardians. We've got two guardians who are crossing this bridge over this chasm with the river down below. And there's two guardians. And they're going to be questioning us and asking us. Big obstacles. Saturn is obstacles. It's limitations. It's going to take willpower, determination, fortitude, duty to something bigger, something beyond my own comfort zone, my own bank account, my own sexual satisfaction. This is a time of moving outside the boundaries and having the what? It's square Neptune and Chiron in Pisces. Belief in the unity of all existence, in the support that Spirit is going to give us. It's a belief in the existence of grace. It's going to take grace. It's going to take magic. It's going to take Spirit support. for my intentions, for my goals to be realized. It's not just about my work and my willpower, but I have to combine my personal will and my personal willpower with this universal love energy. So these are times of big decisions, times of making choices, and you just want to really watch closely the source, the intentions, and the desires that are driving those choices. This is a culminating time. We got a lot of karma from past lives, from this life, from it all. It's all coming up. It's all, like I said, I think last week, it's clearing karma time. You know, in this clearing karma time, one way of clearing karma is to like shoot like a rocket into outer space and drop off the fuselage. Drop off the karma. Let the past go behind you as you shoot forward like an arrow of Sagittarius into the bullseye of not only the galactic center, but the center of your heart. All right, so we got a mantra for this week. Mantra goes like this, yeah. It's now very important for me to know if I'm choosing from my ego or choosing from my soul. For the seeds I now sow with heartfelt intention will grow and blossom beyond all expectation. I was thinking of putting another line on there. If they're not with heartfelt intention, what would happen? But I decided, with a little advice, that, you know, it's stay with the positive. It's a mantra. Focus on the positive. It's now very important for me to know if I'm choosing from my ego or choosing from my soul. For the seeds I now sow with heartfelt intention will grow and blossom beyond all expectation. Yeah, 12, 12, 12 equals 11, I think, yeah. 12, 21, 12 equals 11. It's a master number, not only of completion, but then of creation. Boils down to 2. Which is the High Priestess card in the Tarot. And that High Priestess has to do with wisdom. So get into the wisdom, baby. That is all for today. Wishing you the very best with this new moon, sowing those seeds. I could go on, I mean, you know. Moon does move into Capricorn. Friday looks pretty intense as it hits Pluto, squares Uranus, all right? And then it moves into Aquarius, groups, community. I mean, we're really moving through Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces with the moon. Okay, this following week, that's the transpersonal. We're sowing seeds of group consciousness, unity consciousness. So get out of your box and have a good time. Aloha, namaste, so much love, Kaypacha.